a 2x4. And there's something I want to do. Oh, hey, I'm Captain Eddie. Welcome to the shop. I got my 2x, I got my lathe, I got everything else. I need you. Why? You need to watch. I'm back in the shop and I'm trying to get some feel for some stuff. The other day I chopped up a piece of Australian beef wood and I turned a kit-free pen. Now I like this, my wife liked it too. In fact, I'm probably going to lose it to her real quick. It's got a good finish on it all, but I needed to do a little bit better with my tools. I don't find that I got a lot of flaw with it, but you know, you can always polish a diamond. Hey, look, it fits in the pocket. I'm keeping it. All right, I went and got a block of 2x4. Pretty simple, huh? This was a drop from down the street where they're building something. Guy's got a lot of money. He's building a house. They're using wood. I just came back from Lowe's and I got some 1x6s, 6 foot long, to make a little tabletop for my grinder table. And 1x6, 6 foot long cost me $8.63 a piece. When I was a kid, and unfortunately that was 60 years ago, I would buy 6 1x6s, 6 foot long, for a few pennies less than $2 total for the package. And then on my shoulder and walk 6 more blocks to the house. That's how we built the workbench in the house. I picked up the lumber, carried it home. Boy, if times changed. And I thought the tree was a tree was a tree. Oh well, I went out to the shop and shop is right there, right here, right here. I keep saying it. And I cut it down to maybe 1x1, okay? That's gonna be my pen blank. What I'd like to show you is how do I drill a hole and get this thing going? That's the key to this whole demo. I like to drill this blank. Here, I have one here. Oh, right here, this blank. I want to drill this. This is a, I think 5/32. I'll find the model number and put it up here from MSC. Bit that I use. It's important. And I don't drill anything else with this bit. Nothing else. I'm kind of goofy. I buy them 6 in the pack. Pay for it one time. All right, I've got the 1x1. And I want to drill a hole. Now, most folks will think I'm going to go with the drill press, put it in the drill press and pull down on it. See how much torque, pressure you're putting on that drill? If you don't understand it, take the bed out of the drill press, put your hand underneath it and bring the quill down. Yeah, it hurts. It'll hurt. It's a lot of pressure you can put down with that quill and that axis or that gearing, okay? You don't need that much pressure. In fact, that much pressure is going to overheat the bit, and that bit's going to take a walk on you. And how are you going to know it's walking? You're pulling down, you're putting pressure on it, and that bit's going to start walking. Because you're not feeling it, you're feeling the handle. I want to feel this. So, I'm going to take it over here and put it in my chuck and push it in with my tailstock. Do you realize that's the exact thing as a drill press? It's just bigger and uglier. Okay, here's the deal. I have my bit in my chuck. It's the length of a Bic ink pen refill. That's what this says. Bic ink pen refill. So my refill is going to fit in there, and I'm going to have about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch left over. I don't need much more than that. And don't cut the tip up. Leaks. Don't. All right. I want to drill this. I'm going to do it the simplest way possible. I'm going to bring up my tailstock, because I have a mark on it. I'm going to go over here and eyeballs. Now why do I do that? Because I want this to be straight. But in a moment, I want it eyeball straight. I'm going to need it eyeball straight. So I'm going to crank up the lathe, probably around 1,326 RPMs. All right. Because people say you got to know the number. I'm going to find my center. I know I'm centered down here, and I'm just going to ease it on. And I'm watching this. And that's my first bore. put the tailstock away. Go back in. You see, I am applying one-to-one pressure. No gears, wheels, fulcrums, axis, none of those things you learn in 7th grade geometry. They're gone. Oh, you didn't go to 7th grade? Okay. Takes a minute, just clean it off. It's only fluted about 2 inches. Somebody said, what do you do if it comes from the side? You throw it away and start again, but if you hold it straight when you get started, you'll get right through it. Here we are. That's it, I'm holding the piece. Now you can see I'm a little bit out of count, but I'm long enough to bring up the tailstock, take a look at it. Oh yeah, I got plenty enough for a pen down here. I'm gonna have it. Now here's the mistake folks make. They get this far and they see that my center is a 1/4 inch down and 1/8 of an inch that way. So I'll just pull it back. You don't want to pull it back. You really don't. You want that shaft to be straight through the middle of your pen. That's why I went to a 1x1 instead of 5/8, because then I can control it. Now I'm up and locked in. I'm just going to bring up a little bit of pressure on my tailstock to get it to bite. I broke the handle off this thing. I can't find a bolt for it. So we're going to tomorrow engineer it out. Now that's it. I've got it pulled up. It's in between centers. Watch. Now that to me is a good start for turning. I want to get into that in a moment. Stick around. Alrighty, Maple, I did that without my shield on because there's no chips flying. I still have my safety glasses on, okay? Now, I've got the piece all made up. Now, if you didn't know the story, I've been away from this thing for 2 years, 4 months, and well, it's written on the wall somewhere. It's been a while. Had to come back into the turning again. But I don't have seizures. At least that's what I tell my wife. Tools were dull. Grinder had to come inside. Grinder didn't have a platform yet with my Black Hawk revolving Black Hawk jig on it where I could sharpen my rough and gouge just like this, and then take and smooth out my skew, because I don't put my skew in the jig. It's all by hand. And then I touched it up with my diamond stone. So I kind of got it where I wanted it to be. But yesterday I tried something, boy, they were dull. Whew. And I never leave my tools dull. When I finish the job, I'll resharpen the tools and then do it again just before I start again. In case I pick one up that's not in the plan, I don't have to stop and go sharpen it. It's already sharpened. So it's a crazy thing, but that's what I do. I'm going to spin it back up. 1600. All right. Got to check the numbers for you. 1532 RPMs. Rough and gouge. Takes a second, take a gentle cut to knock the corners off. Don't hog it. As you can see, it's a fairly smooth cut. I'm rather proud of that. That is with a roughing gouge. And I didn't just juke it in. That's not the way a roughing gouge works. Roughing gouge is once you have got the piece set up and you're making a cut in, don't go straight in and plow it out. Kick it off to the side, roll it up on the edge a little bit, read your bevel, and make slicings. Slicings. Now we start off with a fairly out of round piece, big square tip down here and all. Look, I am 5/8 of an inch round down here now. Plenty of room for a fat pen if I want it fat. I lost my 8-inch rest. It's out here somewhere, and I'll put it back on. but put my rest down and start reshaping the end. If I cut pushing this way, I'm going to put more bearing on this end that is being my stop. Over here is just spinning. My mandrel essentially is that drill bit, and I'm putting pressure on it to keep it from moving. I still have a good bit of material down here. I have a lot of material down here. I'm going to get rid of it. This is called a compromising layout. You love it? I got a name for everything. All right, I'm sort of getting to where my stick wants to be. That's my prototype. It's a baking pen. Walmart, 9 cents. You're buying it in a box. Or Amazon, even cheaper. I'm going to put it up here and say, my tip's going to fit there. My end of my refill is about there. So I'm going to give myself a little safety and come on and leave this end down here at about this part. See how that works? Now that's going to give me an idea of where my pen's going to be. You think I lubed that thing, huh? Back to turning. What I've shown you is, with my roughing gouge and my skew, this is down to where it's supposed to be. Where it's supposed to be. All right, if I went and used this as a gauge, my baking pen, I am about, maybe a full 1/16 of an inch larger than this plastic pen. All right, if I'm out to do that. If I'm out to make it a little bit heavier, put a bigger top on it, put beads in it, I can do that because when I drilled it right down the center. I didn't impart any extra heat. I cleaned my bit and I ended up with a good piece of turning stock. Now with that, I gotta put my mark back because I lost my mark. Okay, I'm gonna take this off right about here. So right now I'm gonna take my skew back out and I'm gonna run it down here, turn this out. But first, as soon as I get that established, I'm going to knock this down with a piece of sandpaper. Don't need much sand on it, but it is fine. It does have a little bit of well, let me take that back. It's got no tear. Boy, I'll cut that good. Wow. Stick around. Okay. I get a lot of calls about tool rest height. Novice turners, guys trying to settle an argument, whatever. The book says such and such and this and this. No. It's how you're comfortable with. Mine's a 1/2 inch low and I'm a little bit back and I'm right here and I can run it. Why? I'm sitting down. Yeah, so that all changed. So I'm sitting down, I can slide the tool. They say you can't do that. Don't know, but that's what I'm doing right now. Probably going to bore you to death with this, but it's time to sand. I start with about 100 grit. Not a lot of pressure. I brought the speed way down. 327, because I got to tell the number, right? Now, all I've done was make everything uniform. That's it. And then I use Vince Welch's sanding paper. And then I step up to, I have 180, 220, that's what I do, is walk the line. When I say walk the line, it's pretty simple. I went from 100 to 180, 220, this is 220 right here. And I'm not doing any fast sanding, I'm doing slow sanding, because when I walk the line and take it up the grits, I'm not over sanding it, see? Now, if I bear down on this, I will, one of two things. Burn up my material by varnishing or clog up my paper. I don't like clogging up my paper. I'm probably Vince Welch's worst customer because I'll make it last for just about forever. But that'd go back in my box. I don't throw them away till they're real old and ugly. Then I'm going to step up to 320. Now this is fine, and I don't see a real need to go much over 400. I really don't. Look what I'm getting off. Little slight puffs. The sandpaper is doing its job. It's not redesigning my piece, it is helping with the finish of my piece. So that's 320. I normally have a little strip that I can hang these on. I'm waiting for the hangers to come in. I buy way too much stuff online, according to my boss. But when I go shopping at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I see the poor selection of things, they're not buying for us, they're buying for the market. Yet we're not the market. So that's 400. I'll knock it down. If I think I gotta go more, I'll go 6 or 8. But 400 looks pretty good to me. Man, and that's a piece of 2x4. I'm gonna go ahead and rush things a little bit. I got it set it to 400. I like it, I don't see any marks on it. Now if you wonder about marks, when you get it to your final coats, your final sandings, cross sand it like this, just to knock any tool ridges you may have on there. And remember, you're not shaping the pen, you're correcting it for the finish. Now I'm going to go put a little finish on this for you. We're wrapping this thing up. I'm using Star Bond Thin CA. Fairly low RPMs. I don't have any gloves right now, working on that. But I'll put a few drops. With a paper towel, let's give my base coat. If I like what I see, that's what I'm going to end up with. And I can just keep stacking coats on it. Without gloves, I'm sticking everything in my fingers, and it does get hot. I have to go back to the doctor's and get some gloves. This piece is, in 30 seconds, we're ready for another coat. Yeah, and then another coat. Got to get that C off, it'll drive me crazy. Whatever you do, if it gets on your fingers, don't stick it in your mouth right away. You look funny walking around like this. Okay, we've been talking a little bit, or I've been talking a little bit about making a simple kitless ink pen. Kitless. There's no kit to it. It's just a simple pen. And I'm talking fairly simple. I have to still drill a hole for ventilation somewhere around the top. It's a really fine hole. Now, suppose I want to get really crazy and I want to put some beads on this, or burn in some lines, or put a bump on it, or whatever. It's my lumber. I can do anything I choose. There are no rules. If you don't put a ventilation port in it, the ink will stop coming out. Then you gotta, but I would sand this a little bit with 400, put another coat. I got 2 coats on it now. Put a couple of more coats on it, and then take a little automotive polish. Yeah, Meguiar's lens cleaner or whatever. It works really great. And buff it up. Look like it's dipped in glass. And it's bulletproof because it's super glue. Our meeting today was more about technique than it would be about design or purpose. I wanted to show you how to drill a piece without blowing through the side of it time after time after time. I want to show you how to hold something without a store-bought mandrel. I gave you the number for the drill bit. Showed you that I'm using super glue for a finish. Now you can use any of the forms of super glue you choose. They all work to some degree. Some a little bit more work than others, but it's to fair to say they work for a good finish. And if you can't use it, you can always do this with a sealer, a base coat, and polyurethane or varnish or. It's wood. While we're talking about wood, I'm not restricted to wood. I'm doing this on a piece of 2x4 because to me, it's the hardest thing I can turn because it shreds easy, it tears easy. It's got a funny grain design, highs and lows and such. That teaches me how to use my tools a little bit better. And that's what I'm coming back into turning again and learning how to use these tools the right way and getting a finish. This is, you can't see it, but this is smooth. This is a good finished pen. Now slip this off, bring it up to the wife, and it won't be mine anymore. Oh, well, that's how it works. She runs the company, Big Guy Productions. Here, look, EddieCastelin.com. We're still here. We still sell cutters and all that other stuff. But mainly, the shop's back in here, and I'm having a little fun. A little fun? Yeah. I'm out here making shavings. You see, there's an extra seat over here if you want to come in. Right there. Well, you can sit on the side, you'll see better. That's okay. That's why I get extra stools, just for me and you. Right? Whatever you do, get out in the shop. Hey, I do want to be fair to you. I always want to be fair to you. Today I talked about the same paper I used and what glue I used and some of the tools I've used. That's not important. This is not commercial. If you're happy with something, use it. I really believe I could do a pen, soup to nuts, with my roughing gouge. I could do a pen with my carbide tool. I could do a pen with my skew. I haven't tried it with a scraper, but I'm still young. But what I'm saying is, brand names don't matter. It's how you use it that really does matter. Just want to be fair.